Welcome to class this morning. I invite you to find a comfortable seat. So comfortable really can be anything. On a sofa, against a wall, on a block, just on your mat. Be radically, beautifully honest with yourself. There's no value in looking like a yogi if inside stuff is screaming for comfort and support. So sit in whatever way is true for you right now, this moment. And I invite you to close your eyes and then gently just shift forwards and back and side to side and just check into sit bones. Are they evenly grounded? Check into pelvis. Are you aligning your pelvis according to what your mind wants or according to what your pelvis wants? And then take that movement up. So from pelvis, take that movement up into spine and just move a bit. Slide your shoulder blades up and down and forwards and back and roll your shoulders a few times and shift your neck side to side so that body can become and align itself from within rather than from how we think it should be. Really giving it permission to find its own alignment, to find its stackness and its how do you say, it's internal wisdom. And once you find, okay, no, this is good, then rest your hands onto thighs or in lap, wherever they land intuitively. And then maybe check in again. Is it intuitively or is it habitually? Maybe trying something different today. And then soften into this moment, soften into stillness. Allow your thighs to relax. Most of us hold a lot of tension in our inner thighs. Allow those to relax. Allow your lower belly to relax. If you notice that it can't relax because you're holding on so tight to stay upright, then rather find some support for your back. And let your shoulders relax, your ribs relax. And most important, let your gaze relax. Maybe turning inner gaze upwards towards the space between eyebrows and let your eyelids soften. Let all these little muscles around your eyeballs soften, relaxing. What a lot of thinking does is it creates not just tension in our being, but it creates tension in our body. Noticing these subtle contractions we hold around our eyebrows, around our eyeballs, around our facial expressions, is of deep, deep value to, at the same time, explore the mind, explore our being. So letting your jaw soften, your inner ears, and giving yourself permission to simply be. Switching on this light of awareness, switching on our curiosity, looking inwards, sensing, feeling this moment. Notice what is alive within you as you soften, as you breathe yourself deeper into this moment. Notice what's alive as you let go of everything that was, of all past and future, all concepts and ideas, and really open yourself up to this moment. Opening yourself up to who you are at essence, your presence. Continue to soften any tension you might come across. Softening by welcoming. Maybe asking yourself, how might this tense spot feel if it could smile? And then bring your awareness to breath. Notice and witness your inhalations and exhalations without doing anything about it. Noticing the quality of your breath, the length and depth, And witness how your being and your body moves with breath. Witness how every inhalation is an expansion, every exhalation a softening, a surrendering, a letting go, also a contraction. Flow with that. Let your body be, let your breath be expressed throughout your body. Let yourself flow naturally. Guide your breath deeply down into lower belly, into pelvic floor. Maybe today your your legs want to breathe as well. So guide your breath deep and wide. No forcing, no straining. Embracing what is. If today there is a busy mind, embrace that too. Acknowledge. Hug in those thoughts that might be spinning in circles, and then see if you can find the gaps and bring your attention and focus to those gaps. Guide your attention to what is spacious. And let your inhalations be wide and deep. And witness your exhalations all the way to the end. Let it be a gesture of softening and letting go. As we step deeper into the stillness within ourselves, maybe ask yourself, what would be the most nourishing practice I could give myself today? Notice what arises, and again, breathe it in, breathe it out. Simply acknowledge and move on. From here, let us gently flicker our eyes open. Have a look at the mat in front of you, the space in front of you, and then lift your gaze and widen your vision. Move your vision into the periphery, so have a look around. Take in the whole space. Then we'll lift our knees, we'll lift our feet, and just uncross our legs, cross them the other way. And we'll gently hinge forwards and back. Rolling forwards and back on our sit bones, all the way onto tailbone. Make it this beautiful, deep spinal stretch. So all the way from tailbone into neck. Let it be long and wide. Let your shoulder blades slide apart. As you come forwards, let your inner thighs soften. Let it be a stretch into the hips. Let your knees drop down towards mat. And flow in your own pace. Every boundary, every limitation you come across, notice and see if there's a way past it, through it. See if you can reach a little further beyond what's habitual and familiar to you. And this next time you come forwards, let us drop forward. So take a deep inhalation for length, and then exhale to simply surrender into the forward fold. Let your knees drop a little deeper. Breathe deep and wide along your spine. Bring your chin into chest, roll yourself up to sit. As you come up, you roll your shoulders back. Let's bring our hands out to the sides, fingertips touching the mat. And as you inhale, you rise your arms through the sides and up. At the exhalation, we soften shoulders and ribs down. Inhale to lengthen through your spine. Exhale, hands through the sides. Inhale to reach up, bigger movement even. Exhale to soften shoulders down. Inhale to grow a little taller. Exhale to bring your hands down and away. Let's do that again. Inhale, rising up, big movement. Exhale to, And inhale to grow a little taller. And exhale to twist, whichever way. Gently twisting, looking over back shoulder. And then as if you're drawing a line with your chin on your collarbone, slowly turn your gaze to opposite shoulder. Lean back as you arrive, slide your shoulder blades down, lift your chin, your ear, and then again drawing this line on your collarbone, looking over back shoulder, maybe twisting a little deeper. Feel free to move around here. And then on your next inhalation, coming back to center, rising arms up. Exhale to soften ribs and shoulders down so that there's no effort in holding them. It's like they're stacking, pelvis and ribs are stacking, and we grow tall through our center. On our next exhalation, let's twist the other way. Hands land where they land, looking over back shoulder, drawing this line along our collarbones, bringing chin to front shoulder and gently lean it back in your open chest and sternum. And chin along the collarbones, looking back, let your neck soften. Let your shoulders drop, go a little deeper into the twist, and then inhale, rising arms up. Exhale, soften shoulders down. Inhale, grow a little taller through your spine, and exhale your arms halfway out. Twist one hand forwards, the other back. Moving. And starting with the arms, and then take that movement a little deeper into shoulders. So feel a shoulder move forwards, another shoulder move back, and if you need to bend your elbows, you do so. If your spine wants to move with and snake with, that's wonderful. Let this be an opportunity to break out of your habitual movements of pattern, your habitual way of being. Experience yourself in a whole new way, in movements you might have never done before, experiencing sensations you might have never tapped into. Fully present with each moment. Let's inhale to center, and we'll exhale, hand down, whichever hand, opposite hand reaches up. And then see if you can slide a little deeper. Keep the opposite sit bone rounded deeply and reach your top hand up and over. And let the side body expand as you gently reach into elbow. And then looking up, reach your hand up. As if you could touch the ceiling, looking at hand from your nose. So it's a deep turn in your chest, a deep opening in the chest and a deep twist in the neck, reaching. Take another inhalation here to lift even taller. Make sure your right shoulder, the bottom shoulder is not holding tension. And then exhale, top elbow to outer knee. Round your spine. Consciously hollow out your navel, round your upper back, lower back, chin to chest. Enjoy this roundedness. And then inhale to come up again. Lengthen up, look at hand. Fierce and powerful, as if your hand was a sword. And exhale, elbow to knee, round it out. Inhale up, and then reaching through our top hand, adding our other hand, exhaling, shoulders down, lengthen through spine. Can you grow a little taller? And next exhale, opposite hand comes down. Move over to the side, keep your sit bone on the other side grounded deeply, and then another inhalation for space. Check into collarbones. It's tempting to roll bottom shoulder forwards. Keep it all open, and then exhale, go a little deeper. Deeper, let your top arm drop over. Maybe the hand hangs as you reach into elbow, actually, hips stacking, shoulders stacking. Lean your head back if you notice yourself looking forwards, lean back, and then reach your arm up, look at top hand. From your nose, so you really need to turn your gaze, open your chest, slide your shoulder blades towards hips, looking up. Inhale here for a little more space. Exhale, elbow to outer knee, round yourself out. Feel your shoulder blades slide apart. Enjoy this beautiful lift through your navel, as if navel is meeting heart. And inhale to rise up, expand through chest, turn your gaze a little deeper, maybe this time. Check your thighs, they're still relaxed. Exhale, elbow to outer knee, rounding it again. Breathing space to where it's needed, and inhale, looking up, reaching up, adding the opposite arm, exhaling, shoulders down. Inhaling for tall, for length, and then exhale, hands to the sides. Find the opposite elbow, swap the legs if you like, elbows striving down to earth. This is one of my favorite poses at the moment. I find it so powerful. So your shoulder blades roll down and away, your sternum is wide and open, yet you're not contracting your shoulder blades. Feel as if you could make your elbows touch the mat, and then your spine leans into arms, into forearms. So you're kind of leaning into yourself. And if you like, you can even lift the chin. Make sure the sternum lifts, so your chest is wide and open. And your lower back is gently leaning into arms, and your arms are resisting. So it's this beautiful stretch and opening here. And at the same time, for me, it feels like I'm saying to myself, I got your back. I got this, we got this. Leaning into myself. Now relaxing thighs, open the hips, soften. And let us take that into our forward fold. So your arms are going to help on your lower back to tilt pelvis forwards beautifully. Take your time. Every inhalation is length, every exhale is that forward softening. And then eventually letting go of elbows. Sometimes my hands land here behind. Sometimes they move forwards. See what's true for you. Every inhalation long and expansive. Every exhale soften. Bring your chin to chest, roll yourself up to sit. Let's find hands and knees. So maybe rolling over feet or your own perfect way. Knees under hips, shins parallel. Wiggle your toes. Lengthen your shins, lengthen the tops of your feet into earth. Have a look at your hands. Spread them consciously. Never think you know what you're doing. Always look and check and see and learn anew every time you come onto your mat. Really let this be a moment to explore, and then start to move arch and round, or maybe you circle your hips or you circle your shoulders. We've warmed up our spine a bit, so maybe this is a good time to go a little deeper. At the same time, we're warming our wrists, stretching them out. Can be quite nice to lift the palms and really stretch out the fingers, adding a bit of weight. And releasing the palms back down. See if you can spread the fingers a little wider. And let's keep our hips above our knees and walk our hands forward. And drop your forehead or mouth and chin onto mat. And I usually bring my hands about mat wide, but see what's true for you. And slide your shoulder blades apart. There's an external rotation through your upper arms. So as if the outer shoulder blades could slide onto mat. And then soften your sternum and your heart into earth. So it's almost like you could rest your armpits and your sternum on mat. At the same time, your pelvis tilts forward, so your sit bone's reaching high, and your entire spine is like a hanging bridge. And there's no forcing or straining involved, but there's a deep sense of letting go, a deep sense of surrendering. And you might, as you get here, acknowledge, I'm holding a lot of tension, and that's okay. We hold the tension we hold for a reason. We put on these things to keep ourselves safe, our little armors to make it, to walk through life. But realizing that there's a deeper aspect of you that's infinitely wide and spacious allows us to soften these peripheral tensions and actually tap into the spaciousness and softness which holds all strength and security we might be seeking in life. And let us soften our sit bones onto heels. And as we get there, we beautifully round ourselves up to sit on heels, and we slide our hands back and lift our sternum, maybe open your throat, tuck your elbows in towards one another. If you want to bend or straighten your arms, play around with that. If there is space, maybe the hips lift forwards, maybe the head drops back. Be where you are and be there fully, wherever that is. Reach into it. And slowly bring your sit bones back down. Coming forwards, we find hands and knees again. We find our stability in our shoulders, and we find plank. In your plank, gently press one heel at a time, back and away, as if you're walking on the spot, and then align your shoulders with your hands. Lift your front hip bones and lower ribs towards one another. Lifting navel up and in, and some days our knees need to help us, and that's perfectly fine. And how about we stay on our toes, but we just drop our hips down a bit. So your navel is still strong. You're using your glutes to point your tailbone down and away. See if you can hug your elbows in and lift your heart. And then strong through navel, lifting up into down dog, reaching it back. Dropping one heel at a time, walking on the spot. Soften and open your hamstrings. See if you could drop your collarbones towards your toes. So all weight moves towards feet. Your hands are really light. There's no strain or tension in your hands. And then as if it's a wave flowing through your body, move back into plank. Find your plank, pause, take a breath here. And we'll do the same thing. We'll stay on our toes. We'll gently drop our hips downwards. A bit of a hanging bridge, but yet super strong through our center. No compression in your lower back. You keep your lower ribs and front hip bones connected. Lifting through your navel back up into down dog. You can absolutely always have your knees support you here and adjust however you need. Coming forwards one more time into plank. Let's do that again. This time we'll drop our knees all the way onto mat. We'll point our toes away. See if we can lift a little higher. Maybe the knees lift into up dog. But be where you're at. Open out wide. Find your way back into down dog. And from our down dog, let us walk our hands to feet. Poke your sit bones upwards. So lengthening through the back legs. Slide your hands towards the knees. Lift your chest. And exhale to fold it forwards. From the pelvis with the longest line through your spine. Let your head hang, let your arms hang. And then bend your knees, round yourself up to stand. Stacking yourself up, rolling your shoulders back as you come up. Rolling, softening. Slide your hands down along your thighs as if your fingertips could touch the mat and the crown of your head touching ceiling. And maybe again, lift one ear at a time. Nice little stretch around the neck while our fingers are striving down. And center yourself out, reach your arms up. Exhale, soften shoulders down and gently sit into Utkatasana. Now bring your hands forwards. As we inhale, we arch, we scoop our sit bones back, we lift our collarbones high. On our next exhalation, we round. We hollow out our navel, we point our tailbone, broaden our shoulder blades. Inhale to arch. And exhale to round, flying in your own pace. See if this works for you. If you just want to pause, you can do that. And with our next inhalation, we meet with our chest lifted forwards and up. And this time as we exhale, slide your hands to pelvis, folding forwards. Your knees bend as deeply as they need to and just drop into forward fold. Your arms might hang. Maybe if you want to bring your hands to back feet and just gently draw yourself a little deeper into forward fold. Check where the weight is in your feet. Balance it out. Lift your toes, spread them out, lift your sit bones. Bend your knees, look forward. We'll find our plank. Plank, step your feet a little wider than the hips, and then let's roll onto outside edge of right heel, inner left heel. Keep your hands as they are. Notice how habitually the left hand wants to reach out. Keep it here. And then just lift the left hip up, as if your hands are doing down dog. Grounding through your feet. Can we lift our left leg up? So pressing outer right pinky toe into floor and outer left pinky toe into ceiling. Beautiful. Lift a little higher. Can you? And leg down. And now as I lift my left hand, right shoulder stacks above right hand.
And left arm reaches up. So left foot can be on the mat for support or stacked onto right. Lift your hips and lift your left arm up and over. And maybe the left leg wants to lift again. It doesn't have to. Be you. Explore and play. And find your way back into plank. Whew. Inhale in your plank. Maybe going through a vinyasa or moving straight into down dog. Reaching your hips up. Shaking it no, nodding your ears. Softening out. Rolling your ankles. Really making space. We find our way back into plank. Okay, in our plank, feet come a little wider than the hips. We roll onto our outside edge of left heel, in our right heel, and we keep both hands grounded. Imagine your hands were doing down dog, so your hips are lifting up, right hip reaches up. Grounding through left foot, reach your right leg up. Press your outer left pinky toe into mat, and your outer right pinky toe into ceiling. And breathe, don't forget. Reach, breathe. Now bring your right foot down onto mat or stacked on left. Left shoulder above left hand, right arm rises up. Open your hips, open your heart, extend your tailbone down. Maybe right arm up and over. You can absolutely be on your left knee. Maybe right leg wants to come up. Be where you are, be there fully, breathe fully. Push beyond your limitations. Know there's so much you can do. And come into plank. Maybe through a vinyasa or straight into down dog. Reaching it back, shifting it back. From down dog, we walk our hands to feet. We slide our hands up our shins towards our knees. Take an inhalation here. And we exhale again, we tilt forwards from the pelvis and let our spine drop. We let our back legs extend. You might even want to use your hands to soften any knots there might be in your legs as you fold a little deeper. And then we bend our knees and round ourselves up to stand. And rolling shoulders back and away. This leg needs to come off. I feel like I'm mumbling into my pullover. So standing tall at the end of your mat. Reach your arms through the sides and up. We're just going to sit through Utkatasana, not even pausing here. Just flowing through. Tilting forwards from the pelvis, the longest torso you can have, and then releasing chest and arms. Looking forwards, finding the front of our mat. Inhaling in plank. Coming through your vinyasa, maybe knees down or chaturanga or just a little bridge. Coming back into down dog. From down dog, we lift both heels up high. Bend both knees, look forwards. Point your knees to front corners of the mat. Point your elbows to back corners of the mat. Lots of strength and space. And then watch your right foot land between hands. Watch your left knee come onto earth, and you might need to bring your left knee back a bit, have your right knee above heel, point your left toes back, and gently sway side to side. Loosening up left hip flexors, so loosening up, again letting your body fall into place. Find your boundaries, find your edges, and take an extra breath there. And fingertips move into the space between heel and knee as we gently shift back. Flex your foot as if you were standing into a wall. Inhale, lift your chest, and exhale, folding forward. If you like, bring your right hand to right sit bone and remind it to send backwards and up as you fold forward. And slowly coming back up, knee above heel, releasing into hips. And let's roll our shoulders back and lengthen ourselves up. Remind your left hip to move forwards, your right hip to move back. Remind your tailbone to point down and forwards. You need to use your core to do so, and then go a little deeper. If there's a little more in you, bring your arms up high. If you need support, rather have your hands on your knee. Strong center, don't forget, you're breathing all the way from pelvic floor into crown. You're opening yourself up.
Let's bend our left elbow, bring it over right knee, stack our hands into one another and gently twist. Slide your shoulder blades down, open your heart wide. Tuck your back toes under if you want to add on, and lift your back knee. See if you can sink your pelvic floor deeper down to mat with your back knee lifted, and lean back into yourself. Check your right toes, they might be holding on. Bring your left knee back down, point your left toes back. Center yourself up, guide your arms up, go a little deeper, feel your front left thigh open up, and bring your hands down onto mat. Fingertips in line with right heel, back toes tuck under, front leg straightens out for a moment to release, and then as the foot comes down onto mat, we find our left foot. We might need to step it in, right knee above heel, just check as you come up, right knee above heel, check your hips. They're parallel to the front of your mat, and then extend your arms in line with ears, but keep sliding your shoulders down, really strong through your center. If you want to use your hands and just bring lower ribs and hip bones a little closer, really holding that center. And then arms slowly open out through the sides. Notice what that feels like. Let your hands rest on pillars of space as you come onto right leg. Continue to lift through your center and reach your left leg back and away. Hands resting on pillars of space. This super, super strong. Maybe you can drop your chest and lift your leg higher. Simply explore body in space. And then stepping left foot back. Whew, beautiful. Landing, softening. Maybe dropping back knee for a moment. Don't know if that's helpful or not, or even more challenging. Lifting it up again. Let's do that in a little more gentle, flowy way. So hands out to the sides or in line with hips, taking flight, opening up, and stepping it back. Feel the flow and connection between the movements. Rising your arms up. Let's find warrior two for a moment. So checking in, back heel comes down. I quite like using my hands in my own practice just to kind of stretch body beyond its habitual range of movement. So by using a hand, the body learns, oh, actually I can go a little further. Oh, I actually can go. Or maybe sometimes it's a bit of nurturing touch. So see what it is. Reach your arms out to the side. Ground your feet beautifully, strong and fierce. Look along your right hand, along your right middle finger. Turn not just your eyeballs, but your head. And then maybe checking in, collarbones and arms parallel to long side of mat. Press your hands into space and be fierce and courageous. Feel your ribs and your pelvis connect. And from there, find that expansiveness. And we'll just shift it forwards and back a bit. Explore your range of movement. How far can you move back? No compression in lower back. You're moving with ribs and pelvis together. You're moving into hip joints, moving forwards and back. Stay back here. Reach your top arm up. Stay back here and hand comes down. If you like, maybe straighten your front leg for a moment. See if you can reach even further through top hand. Can you grow taller? Can you come back to center? Reaching forwards, elbow to inner knee or elbow onto knee or hand to inner foot. There always is options. Externally rotate your thighs, maybe opening the arm forwards and up. Leaning into yourself. Notice how beautifully you can lean your weight into right knee and really holding yourself here in space. And let's just bring our left hand onto mat. Roll onto left toes. Bring right hand to outer right foot. Make your hands ground, preparing, shifting right foot back into three-legged downward facing dog. As high as you lift your right heel, you drop your left heel low. Take another breath here. Step your foot down. Come into child's pose or flow through vinyasa on your way to child's pose. Make it yours. Be true, authentic, honest. And we all meet in child's pose. Knees narrow or knees wide.
your child's pose of choice. Hands forward or hands back in line with feet. Ask yourself what would be the most nurturing, nourishing child's pose right now, this moment. Noticing your heartbeat, noticing your breath breathing you. Open yourself up to fully be this moment, nothing else. No stories, no ideas, no thoughts. Let them all go. Roll up to the crown of your head for a moment and simply enjoy that gentle pressure on the top of your head. And who knows, maybe right now you feel like bringing your hands onto mat and spreading the fingers wide. See your elbows above your hands. Maybe you feel inspired to tuck your toes and lift your knees. See your elbows above your hands, so your elbows are hugging gently in. Find your center, strong center, and you might place your knees on your elbows and your toes might come up. Or you might really find this lift, this lengthening through your center. You might find your feet striving up to ceiling, striving up to sky. Simply being present. Simply breathing and feeling and sensing this moment. Breathing it. No past, no future, just this moment. Strong in your center. Beautiful. Finding your way back down. Pausing in child's pose. We bring our chin to chest, roll ourselves up to sit on heels. Maybe sliding shoulders up and down a few times. Slide your hands back, fingers pointing forwards. Roll your shoulders back, lift your sternum, hug your elbows in, lift your heart, open your throat. And again, if there is space, maybe the hips lift. Point the tailbone away. Notice how sometimes we lift the hips and then the chest collapses. We open everything, our entire front body. Open your throat, open your hips, widen. Bring your hips back down onto heels, slowly come forward. Witness the moments between as we transition from that space back into plank. Plank goes through a vinyasa or straight into down dog. Your choice, your practice, your life. No wrong, no right. From down dog, we lift both heels. Stretch our toes, lift your heels as far forward as you can. See if you can rest your lower ribs onto thighs. Poke your sit bones high. Look forward. Knees pointing to front corners. Elbows pointing to back corners. Don't forget to breathe. Left foot lands between hands. We watch our right knee come down. And we might need to move it back a little. And here again, we rest our top foot onto mat. And we gently move. Notice what difference it makes if we let our head and chest hang versus lengthening our torso. So shift and move, roll and circle, and shift it back, reaching. Left foot, can we lift our toes? And again, you might want to use your hand to lift a little more. Or you might want to use your left hand to grab your left sit bone and reach it back. Inhale for length, exhale for softening. Might be a big difference between the legs. Notice. Coming forwards again. Gently slide your hands and roll your shoulders back. Sit yourself up. Right hip forwards, left hip back. Maybe your hands on your knees for support. Maybe the arms come up. Rise and reach. Reaching into fingertips, but we're not lifting through the shoulders. Remember, shoulders and ribs are this entity, this unity. So we lengthen through our spine and we soften. And now right elbow bends and comes over left knee. Left hand can be on hip or on hand. As you twist a little deeper, explore and be playful. Challenge yourself to stretch beyond who you think you are. Maybe tucking back toes under. Maybe you lift your back knee and open your pelvic floor a little closer down towards mat. Sinking a little deeper into it. Strong navel, long tailbone. Whew, knee comes back down. Toes point back. Beautiful. Centering out. Let's reach and surrender. Beautiful hip opener, beautiful heart opener. Keep your core strength, keep your center. Hands come down, fingers in line with heels, back toes tucked, back foot steps in, front knee above heel. Take your hands on your front knee, soften. Align your torso with your back leg, lift and lower your heel. Reach into crown, reach into fingertips. And your body is working, you're breathing hard, your leg might be shaking. Find what's spacious. Find what's totally capable to be here. See if you can reach it forwards, lifting the leg, lifting the heart. Expanding, lifting. Can we maybe drop the chest and lift the leg? Bring attention to what is capable. Bring attention to what is strong and spacious. Coming up, landing back into lunge warrior. And simply arriving here. Back knee sometimes can help, sometimes not. Open a little more, reaching. And in a very light and gentle way. Again, hands rest on these pillars of space. Finding foot, finding your center. Unfolding from there. Challenge yourself. Do something you've never done before. And reach it back. Open up. And landing into warrior two. Adjust your feet if you need to. Sometimes you need to step them a little further apart. Depending on where you're at in your body. Use your hands. Open your knees. Maybe thigh can be parallel to long side of the mat. Maybe even parallel to earth. Check your pelvis. Nice and upright. Remember, ribs and pelvis, one thing. We're opening our hips. Softening the shoulders, arms out to the sides. Have a look. Arms, collarbones, parallel left knee, grounded over heel. Right pinky toe side, grounded. And then reach back. Reach forwards. Check out your range of movement. Reaching backwards. Take your pelvis width. Reaching forwards. And back one more time. Hand drops down. Left hand rises up. Reach a little deeper. Taking left hip bone width. And you might want to straighten your left leg. Extend your tailbone down. Make as much space as you possibly can. As if you could lift yourself off the earth through your own willpower. Through your own lightness. Coming back to center, knee above heel. Elbow might land on knee. Let's just rest our arm for now. Maybe the elbow to inner knee or the hand to inner foot. Maybe the arm up and over. Give yourself permission to lean into yourself. You might not even need that left hand on the floor if you really lean your shoulder into knee. So instead of holding yourself in space, rest into yourself. Lean your chest back, reach your hips forward, and just be here. Notice your toes might be holding on to mat now. Relax them and breathe. And let's find our way back up. Gazing along our left arm, along our left middle finger. Put on your kind and loving, fierce face. And then we'll bring our hands down onto mat. Roll onto right toes. Lengthen ourselves up. Ground our hands. Left foot back. Left heel rises high. Build it from within. Right heel drops low. Left heel rises high. Elbows point to corners of the mat. Hands light. Reach. Footsteps down. Knees wide onto mat. And settle your sit bones into the space between your heels. So some of us might be able to sit ourselves down here. If you can, then roll yourselves onto the front sit bones. You can have your toes apart and drop into the space between your knees. Maybe your inner thighs rest on earth. Maybe not. Be where you're at and fully surrender into gravity. Again, notice, where am I resisting? Where am I holding tension that is saying, going beyond this is not healthy, is not safe? And can I embrace that tension? Can I maybe thank it for wanting to keep me safe, and then be with it and breathe space into it? And gently, bit by bit, letting it go. And let us lift up to seated again. And then however you do that, bring your legs forwards. Bring the soles of your feet together and your knees outwards. For some of us, it might be a great idea to simply move against a wall or a door or something solid to support you. Some of us are great where we're at, with your hands behind. Or then if you are against a wall, or if you are open enough in the hips, hands onto feet, or your hands might help open the knees a little wider, squeezing into what's tight and letting it know it's okay to relax. And then close your eyes here. Let your shoulder blades slide down. Before you close your eyes, just check your collarbones. Have them be nice and wide. And then reach the crown of your head up tall. So your knees want to touch the mat. Your spine is following its natural alignment, finding length through your spine. And then your knees reaching outwards. Feel free to play here. Notice if your playfulness is a habit or if it really is an exploration. And then we lengthen up. We open our eyes, we grab our knees, and we step our feet out to the sides. So you can stay if you're still up against the wall, that's fine. Feet out to the sides. Open the knees out to the sides and bring your elbows to inner knees. See if that works. See if you can heel toe your feet a little further apart. And now notice, are you folding onto tailbone or can you roll onto front sit bones as much as possible, tilting pelvis forwards? And now if there is a little more space, you might be able to stretch your legs out to the sides. And shift side to side, gently resting your back thigh, your back knee into earth, flexing feet, loosening up. And we're all different. Some of us might be here with our back against the wall. If there's a little more space for you, you're welcome to hinge forward from the pelvis. I quite like using my hands to open, to roll my inner thighs outwards, to open my thighs and then gently folding forwards from here. And if you now feel like, oh, this is not good, this is so uncomfortable, it is. For all of us, I think, I believe, I sense. And then we're staying here on purpose. I haven't just lost my ideas. We're staying here. Continue to roll forwards on your sit bones. Continue to roll your pelvis forwards and face what arises with an open heart. So sometimes the sensations get so dense that we lose our breath, maybe then you take a step back. But once you find your center again, see if you can come back into it and explore a little deeper. The muscles we're working into are those that probably contract first when there's a fight or flight mode. So it's muscles that we've contracted in our lives a lot, and some of us for a very long time without even noticing. So opening them up, working with them is the first word that comes up, gnarly. But it is a great gift to actually let go. Those are big and strong and important muscles with regards to our alignment and our sense of being in this world. So play with it, be with it. Notice emotions that arise. Those might be emotions worth looking at. And we slowly find our way back up. With a lot of kindness, we gently say thank you. We lift our knees up, one at a time, to simply cross our legs. Have your hands on knees, close your eyes for a moment, for your sit bones ground, and simply sense.
Let your knees relax. Let your inner thighs relax. Find length through your spine. We'll take another inhalation here, and as an exhalation we fold forwards, folding over our legs. Simply noticing. Gentle forward fold as we did in the beginning of class. Give yourself permission to drop into gravity, to soften into gravity. To come up, chin to chest, roll yourself up to sit, and rolling shoulders back. Align yourself with your mat if you're not. Make sure there's enough mat behind you to roll your spine down onto, and then step your feet apart nice and wide. Have your hands on your knees and then move from sit bones into the fleshy bits onto tailbone. And then just rolling from tailbone into sacrum. Keeping your thighs light, you can hold on to legs. And then let's roll it back up again, but not contracting through the legs, just your navel, just your center. All the way up onto sit bones, chest nice and wide, shoulder blades nice and wide, and then rolling back down. Feel your pelvis tilt forwards, rolling into lower back. Dip your shoulder blades on the mat. Check again your legs, your feet relax, and come up one vertebra at a time. Grab if you need support. Coming up, lengthen up, and we'll roll all the way down onto earth. Our hands land alongside our hips. Your head, your neck nice and long, and then lift your feet up to ceiling. Some of us might need support under our glutes, or maybe you can just turn your palms up and really ground your shoulder blades, your outer shoulders into mat. Your sacrum is grounded. And I invite you to draw circles with your feet. The biggest circles you can. Make a big circular movement from the ankles. Really slow, really mindful. Witness your feet, watch your feet as you do. And now circle the other way. Big movements. Let your toes move with, really slow. And then come to center and we'll shake it out, shake it out. Shake out your knees, shake out your feet, let it wobble. Let your entire pelvis on the mat wobble, your spine wobbling. And then find stillness, just for a moment, feel the after wobble, feel the tingling, the tickling. Now if you like, you can just rest your legs onto mat. If you want to join us going into shoulder stand, rolling over, you can do that. So there's your options. Hands come down alongside the hips. You give it a little push, and as your hips come up, you gently bring your shoulder blades a little closer. Some of us want to pause with our knees on our forehead, or you just bring your feet onto mat above your head. Now I quite like starting with the plow pose, so interlocking hands and really resting onto the back of your head and your shoulders and upper arms, so that your spine is basically off the mat. It's not resting into mat. And then from here, it's quite nice to bend the elbows and find hands on your back to lift the hips, lift the legs. You can stack your hips onto hands, really support them. You can do your shoulder stand without hands on your lower back, just having hands on your back, on the mat, I mean. So no wrong or right. Feel playful, explore. And bring your legs back up and over, or knees onto forehead. One more moment, enjoy this beautiful opening through the back body. And as you roll your spine down onto mat, feel that width in your lower back ribs. Really beautiful. Pelvis comes down onto mat. Your knees come into chest. Hug your knees in. Keep your chest on the mat, your head on the mat. Just hug your knees in, as if saying thank you. Hugging them in. Love yourself for a moment. And open your arms out to the sides as if you could hug the earth. And exhale your knees over to the right. A gentle little twist.
Stack your knees, stack your feet, maybe right hand on top knee. If you like, turn your gaze to left hand. Open your collarbones, open your chest. If you want, lift your chin upwards, gently stretching throat. So we're opening all that was compressed in our shoulder stand, we're opening that up again. Inhale here, exhale, knees to center. Hug your arms around your knees, gently sway side to side. Let all the little muscles, your spine, let it all soften. Arms out to the sides, knees over the other way. Maybe left hand onto right knee, let your knees rest into one another, your feet. Gaze towards left hand, open chest, open throat. Enjoy this opening. Enjoy the expansion on your inhalation, the softening on your exhalation. And we come back to center, hugging the knees in one more time. Maybe this time chin to chest, stretching your spine, and from here find Shavasana. From a long and expansive spine, resting legs down, extending legs out, resting hands down, alongside hips or resting on your belly. Gently shoulder blades tucked under but not compressing. Lots of space in the spine, closing eyes. Shift around until you feel like, yep, this is it. I am accepting this Shavasana for what it is. Take a deep inhale, an expansive deep inhale, and then exhale. Exhale into surrender. Now let your body be completely still. Every urge that might arise, every urge to move, to shift, maybe an itch, notice it and breathe space around it. Notice how closely these sensations are linked to our interpretations and reactions. Learn to breathe space around the impulse, the sensation. And that space gives you space to choose, space for choice, space to act rather than react. You might still scratch the itch. You might still shift, but it becomes a conscious action. Learning just this one thing has the potential to turn your entire life around. As you take this into your day, you might start noticing all these little things, all these little choices you make, these things you do without even noticing. All these little reactions that day to day shape your life. Breathe space around the impulses, the sensations, that moment before you tap into action. And make your choices conscious. Check in. Do I really want to do this? Make space. Give yourself permission to pause and be still. Remembering that your state of being is the most important thing. Nothing on your to-do list is as important as your state of being. Guide your attention to breath and witness breath flow in and out of nostrils.
as if breath was breathing you. Just observing the ebb and flow of breath. This ongoing exchange of inner space and outer space. This reminder of how deeply everything's connected. Witnessing your body move with breath. The ebb and flow throughout your body. The dance between the fullness of your inhalation and the emptiness of our exhalation. A metaphor for the dance of life. Embracing all, the fullness, the emptiness, the coming, the going. Let us deepen our breath. Let us invite our inhalations to fill us up fully. Let us invite our exhalations to empty us out fully. And let this movement, let this breath bring movement back into you. Movement into body. Whatever it is, the most subtle, the most intuitive. Stay connected to that still point within as you roll over onto whichever side feels true right now. Hold the connection with that still point as you come up to seated, your eyes still closed. Bring your hands onto heart. Just stack them on heart. Find your heartbeat under your hands. Find the sensations of hands on your chest. Send a smile into your heart, a smile into your closed eyes. Let your inner mouth smile. Let us inhale together to expand and rise and reach. And let us exhale to gently bow and soften and thank and honor ourselves. Thank and honor life and earth. Have a beautiful day. Namaste, everyone. It was a greatest honor and joy to journey with you. And my invitation to you is stay connected with that still point within as this now picks up momentum again, as we step back into the world. Always know that that is there and that is you, and that remains still, and see what happens. Thank you.